Hey guys, I'm back with another video. Today we're doing what if Naruto was like kaneki. Now before getting this video, we have something to state. I have not posted in 2 weeks, mainly because it's just became New Year's, and Happy New Year's to you all, because I didn't say it because I was doing something New Year's, so like I wasn't there to say anything. But the reason why I wasn't doing anything because it was New Year's, so I wouldn't feel like doing much on New Year's, so and yeah, so so let's get into this video. We see Naruto chained up to a chair, handcuffs on his hands, with his hands behind his back, his feet cuffed to the chair. We can see blood spatters all on the floor. We see clippers, knives, kunai, shuriken. And then we look at Naruto. Naruto was wearing a black shirt with a white pants. He still had his yellow hair and his his blue eyes. He had cuts all over his body. His toenails were plucked out, but you could see them slowly healing back. You could see the wounds closing. Then the door opened. We see Sakura's mother walk into the room and pick up the tweezers again. But Naruto wasn't paying attention to her. He was thinking about one person and one person only. He was thinking about Hinata, Nezuko, Karin. Those are the people that he was thinking about. Those are the people that was closest to him. He had a he had an adopted sister named Nezuko, and him and Nezuko had an intimate Relationship. He doesn't know if his parents know, but him and Nezuko had an intimate relationship. Naruto and Hinata met one day because Hinata was being bullied, and Naruto helped out, and they became closer. They became closer as they were growing up. Karin, she was found in the far end of the Uzumaki district, or the Uzumaki clan house. She was brought in, and she told that her name was Karin Uzumaki, and from there, Naruto and Karin had a deep bond. Naruto's toenails that had just gone back got plucked out again. He screamed. He was crying. Sakura's mother said, "I hope you know how it feels, demon." And then she kept plucking out his toenails. And then Naruto was put into his subconscious. But before that, Naruto's body started to change. Hagoromo was looking down on this, and he was truly disappointed into the humans that he was truly disappointed in what had happened to his descendant, or his son's reincarnation. If things went on like this, Naruto, his son's reincarnation would become like Indra. But um Bahago didn't want to think so. But you could see something changing in Naruto. Like his body was mutating. He knew if it mutated, he might just go on a rampage. So he lent Naruto some of his chakra, not too much. But it could be amplified. Then we're going to see his conscience. We can see Naruto still in chained up in his Mindscape. Even in his Mindscape, he's chained up. Let me know something. Naruto cannot remember anything from his past. He can only remember certain people because his emotion was so strong to him. He don't remember certain people. So like Hinata, Nezuko, and Karin, he remembers them perfectly, mainly because those are person that are important to him and his parents. The Kyuubi. Kyuubi is telling Naruto to just give up. Give up on these humans. Become a demon. Naruto said he doesn't want to become a demon. The Kyuubi said, I should explain more. Don't become a demon. Act like what they wanted you to act like. Naruto said no, and that's not what his parents would want him to do. The Kyuubi didn't ask Naruto if he even remembers his parents. Does he even know what his parents' name was? Do you know how many siblings you have? Naruto then ponders this for a bit. He says no, he couldn't remember, because obviously he couldn't remember. Then we skip to Kushina. Kushina, well, she's in a state. Now, Naruto has been kidnapped. He's been kidnapped off the streets. He was just walking around, and then, like, Sakura's mom just yank, and just. And everybody's trying to find Naruto, but they couldn't. And she is just in a state where she's lost her child, that she can't find him. Is weird. But she does have the Kyuubi, and the Kyuubi can tell her that Naruto's okay, because she can still sense her other half. And she can still sense Naruto chakra within the other half. But she can't, but the 90th couldn't pinpoint where Naruto was. She knew he was alive, but she didn't know who she was. She was still worried sick. It didn't really clear anything. It just gave her a reassurance that Naruto was alive. Let's switch back to Naruto. Naruto is still there, and Naruto snapped. He broke out of the chains in his Mindscape and broke off the chair in the Mindscape and fell and pushed the Kyuubi in her human form to the ground. He then told her, "I accept," and kissed the Kyuubi. By the way, this is a 18 only, so do what you do with that. Yeah, I haven't done an 18 only in a while. I stopped doing it because of a person asked me to like calm down on the 18 onlys, but I can't like completely go off of it. So like, sorry, dude. Anyways, so Naruto then kissed her and he raised up to her foot, where it's right in between her legs. His two hands was on. He put her two hands on her wrist and pinned her down to the floor. And she said, "Yes, Naruto, come to me." And she touched Naruto's face, and Naruto's face here turned snow white. Now, this is something that Kyuubi wasn't expecting. Two of her stage 2 chakra tails, like the tails, like 4 of them. No, remember the 4 tails? Naruto, you remember the tails of the 4 tails? Kyuubi cloaked Naruto. Naruto has them. But that wasn't it. Ash bones, started to ash bone rib cages start to wrap around the the tails, but the end twisted into a spike, and then to connect all of them, a spinal card appeared. So there was 4 tails with like the bones wrapped around them, and there was ash bones. I remember I told Naruto was going through a mutation. That was the mutation that was happening. So the so when the C6 paths gave him chakra, it advanced the mutation. Then Naruto's eye turned pitch black, but then rings started to appear against his red pupil, and Tomos appeared into those rings. Naruto in the real world was exactly how he did, but he didn't go into his mode yet. He then told Sakura's mother, and Sakura's father wasn't too far. He was just there. He was laughing, and he was just laughing. Sakura knew about this, but she's not gonna say anything because she's not gonna get in trouble because I need her for plot. And Naruto opened his eyes, and they saw the Rinnegan, the black and red Rinnegan. Tomoda Rinnegan, to be in fact. Naruto looked at them with a cold face, showing no emotion, showing no fear, showing no anger, and showing no sadness. Naruto closed back his eyes, and then he broke out of his chains. The handcuffs were still on his body, but he broke out of them. He then leaned his head to the side and he disappeared. A minute later, Sakura's father had a tail embedded in his chest. Had a chocolate tail in his chest. Naruto's rainwater Renegon glowed, and then some. Then a spike appeared out of Naruto's neck, and it went on his face and created the eye hole so he could see. Then his other eye turned red, and it was gleaming. You couldn't see the eye itself, but the red glow from the eye was menacing. Naruto then backflipped and spread out his tails to catch Sakura's mother, but she was running. Naruto backflipped in the air and landed in front of her. He took out the bones off of the tails and grabbed her and stamped her to the ground. He then he then put he then pushed his tails into her feet and then got on her back and then told her to count down from 1,000. She started to count. Naruto tapped his head and then a centipede came out of Naruto's ear. Yes, they put a centipede in Naruto's ear. Let's go back to the story. Naruto told him, "It's only fair for me to give you torture, the same way you did to me." And Naruto put the centipede in her ear, and she started to scream, and kick, and just shout. But we skip back to the perspective of Minato, Jiraiya, and Kakashi, and a lot of other shinobi, and Hiruzen. Minato was sitting in his office, just looking and just worrying about his son, his oldest son. He was just there. He was so worried until he sensed something. Now, people remember, Minato sensed Naruto's chakra from all the way in the Uzumaki Shrine to the battlefield. So I believe he would sense Naruto from here. Like, he's in the village. So I believe he would sense, especially when he had his QB's chakra is running through his veins now. And it became a part of him. So even if the QB was to be taken out, Naruto wouldn't die because his QB is in his bloodstream now. Jiraiya and Hiruzen and some ninjas like Kakashi, Guy, and Kuronai and Asuma felt this, and they all went to the Hokage. Minato had already got up, put on his Jonin jacket, and then put on his Hokage cloak, and he was like, "Let's go!" And everybody just ran to the Haruno clan household. When they got there, they heard screaming because Naruto wasn't finished yet. He was still there. He wanted to kill them. He couldn't get to Sakura though, but he couldn't get to Sakura. So he didn't know Sakura was there in the first place. He didn't know Sakura because Sakura never came down there, but she knew what her parents were doing. They ran down to the basement, and that's where they saw the black and white checkered floor. But then they saw Naruto torturing Haruno, torturing Sakura's mom. Minato shut out for Naruto. Naruto was running towards Minato, very animalistic. Then Minato just stood there and just grabbed Naruto's face and hugged him. Naruto, for some reason, calmed down. His four chakra tails and the bones that were on it just disappeared. And Naruto's eye, his red and black Renegon disappeared. So with the tomos inside of it. Naruto is dropped to the floor, and he became unconscious. Now let me explain something. This is where I can explain some things. Naruto's mutation, these are the powers that the mutation gave him. It gave him the Rinnegan, of course. It gave him the ash bones that to wrap around his tail. So Sakura's father's body is in a pile of ashes, because if you don't know what ash bones or jagged bones is Kaguya's ability where she could like stick people with the bone and they would turn into dust. What she did to Obito. And his mutation is that go on in his skin, in his bones go between the space in his skin. So if you was to stab him with a kunai or knife or anything like that, it wouldn't work. It would break. and his regeneration, which was actually hard to pierce his skin or like get anything to do to him. But you remember how Kaneki twisted his leg and broke it even tore the leg? And Naruto feels no pain, by the way, and tore his leg. Naruto can do that and it will heal just the way Kaneki's healed. And this is gonna be the character design for Naruto for the whole series because I'm not changing it. He's gonna have the handcuffs, but they're gonna be wristbands instead of handcuffs. And the shirt would be a shirt. They would have the Uzumaki swirl on the back of the shirt. You understand, right? So it gave him all the abilities of Kaneki and it was just like generically made into Naruto. But I gave up the eating humans for jagged bones, which I think people would like. Because if Naruto just randomly go around eating people, I don't think his parents would like that. So like, I have an alternative if you guys want him to actually consume something, but he cannot be eating humans like that. So let's get back to the story. So Minato hugged Naruto and held him close because Naruto was still a kid at this point. Well, he wasn't a kid. He was eh. He was eh. So Minato was just holding Naruto and hugging him. He saw what Naruto was doing, and the spike that was on Naruto's eye, that was wrapped around that was on his face, just it disappeared when Minato hugged him. He saw what Naruto was doing, but then he analyzed the place and saw that they were torturing Naruto. Sakura came down, but she saw the Hokage. Minato wasn't paying attention, so he couldn't sense or see her at the time, but she ran back upstairs. Everyone then went into the room. All of them had different thoughts, but all were the same. Naruto became a monster, but he didn't become a monster on his own will. They made him like this. But really and truly, all of them was sorry for Naruto. Naruto had to endure that much pain and suffering without even being a ninja yet. But they know he was capable to be one. He was very capable to be a ninja. So they searched in the house of the Haruno clan and went to Sakura's dad's office and found his notes and his diary, and basically them admitting of what they were doing to Naruto, and they were hiding it from the Hokage because they know if the Hokage found out, they would die. Minato was upset, but they found Sakura, but they believed that Sakura didn't know anything about this because why would their parents tell her anything about this? And Sakura knew everything, like she knew everything. But anyways, but Minato was mad, but he couldn't kill him or he couldn't prosecute them because Naruto. No, he could kill Haruno, but she was already on death's door. So, and a centipede, which Naruto enhanced with cubic chakra, was eating her insides piece by piece. Actually, she was dying. Like she was dying. Half of her inside of her body was dead. Except only thing keeping her alive was the string that was connected to her heart, and that was about to be soon eaten too. They then carried Naruto to the hospital. Then Kushina was called because they saw a black mark in Naruto's brain and they didn't know what it was. So Kushina came. She wasn't told it was Naruto, but she was told it was something about the seal and and a lot of stuff. She came to the came to the hospital to see Minato standing outside the room. She went to Minato and asked what was the problem. Minato had tears in his eyes and a smile on his face, told her that the person they called her in for was Naruto. She burst into tears. It wasn't sad tears, it was tears of joy. They finally see her son, but when she looked in there, he was different. His hair was different. His body was different. His skin was paler. But he still had the generic whisker marks that he was born with. It also made him pretty cute when he was a kid. But she could see his toned, muscular body. She then asked what Minato what happened, and Minato explained what Haruno what Sakura's mom did. and Sakura's father. But yeah, Kushi was beyond mad. She didn't like Haruno's mother in the first place. I mean Sakura's mother in the first place. She tried to steal she tried to seduce Minato, but it didn't work. And she actually hated Kushina because she took Minato from her. But she settled for a what is called a merchant. And Minato is filthy rich, by the way. She went in and went to Naruto's brain, and she infused her hand with chakra. I went through. I went into Naruto's psyche, where she saw female Kurama. She asked Kurama what was the problem, and Kurama said that Naruto's basically mind is jack fucked. Like it's between state of crazy and humanity. It's on the verge of cracking, and if she doesn't unlock those memories that were sealed before, Naruto's going to forget everything, and he's going to go on a rampage. The only reason Minato was able to stop Naruto because for a glimpse of a second, Naruto remembered Minato. Kushina then asked Kyuubi where the seal was, and she carried Kushina into Naruto's mind. He told her to don't look at the memories that Naruto had gained over the years because they were nothing good. But Kushina spotted the memory that Naruto made not too long ago with her interaction with the Kyuubi, and she blushed to see Naruto like that. But then again, Naruto wasn't in the right state of his mind, so Naruto could really do anything. Kushina then went to see the seal that was on Naruto's brain. It was a very complex seal, which didn't make sense for Haruno to make, so that means she hired someone to make the seal. She then did some hand signs and broke the seal. Then the Kyuubi thanked her, and then a cut appeared on the outside of Naruto's body. And blood started to come out of Naruto's hand, but it was forming into something. Kushina came out of the Mindscape, and then she saw blood forming into a female shape, and then out came a red-haired lady with a black kimono, with the kanji for 9 on the back of the kimono. It was the Kyuubi. She appeared out of Naruto's blood. She was separated from her chakra. She had chakra, which was Kyuubi chakra, but she couldn't go back in there anymore. And if she died, she died. She died with Naruto. If she died, she died. It didn't matter. So her soul would leave her. So she would die, but her chakra would live on. But it wouldn't have any personality. It would just be chakra. And yeah. And the Kyuubi would tell Kushina that Naruto would wake up in due time. Kushina, Minato, and Kurama went back to the Uzumaki estate, and they went in the house and told Menma and Nezuko what happened to Naruto. Nezuko was devastated. She was mad, which she was rightfully should have been. She was mad, she was sad, and she was happy because she finally got to see Naruto again. She then explained what was happening and why Naruto couldn't remember jack shit, and they were just overall just angry at the Haruno family. And then this was announced to the village. Now, Sakura's family was looked at differently because before Sakura's family was a noble family, or a family that had a Kikigenkai but wasn't a clan. They were a noble family. And Sakura's mom married into the clan, so like into the noble family. So yeah. So everyone in the village started to look at Sakura's family differently because they kidnapped the Hokage's child, lied to him about it, then proceeded to torture the kid that to the point where he snapped and killed them. And to be honest, no one really cares that Naruto killed them because in their eyes they deserved it. Because if a person was torturing you and literally making your and sealed away your memories, making them think that you were their mother and father, although they knew that wasn't true. Now they made Naruto believe for a portion of his life that they were his parents, but Naruto started to got glimpses of who his parents was at a time, so he knew when they started torturing him, he knew that they were not his parents. They pretended they were his parents for a point of time. So everyone was happy that Naruto was okay. He wasn't dead, but I always knew that he wasn't dead because Kushina would have told him that. But hey, that he wasn't. Whatever, right? They met Karama, and they talked to Karama, asked Karama about Naruto's life previous from that. She then explained that they made Naruto believe that they were his parents for a period of time. But when they started to torture him, Naruto got glimpses of you again, of you and Minato again. Honestly, I've been the moral support of Naruto from when he started to remember stuff. I've been helping him, but in my own sadistic way. Because she wants Naruto to be hers, but she know that cannot happen. Because Naruto loves Nezuko, Hinata, and Karin. He loves her, but not as much as them. Well, no, let me rephrase that. He loves them. He loves her as much as he loved them. So she couldn't push them out of the picture. She then told, because Kurama didn't really care. She told, let's say Hinata and Karin was there because they got the news that Naruto was home. That Naruto was back and they wanted to ask Kushina. And Kurama just explained that Naruto, the only reason Naruto was staying sane was because he got glimpses and the memories that he made with Karin and Hinata and Nezuko. Nezuko blushed, Hinata blushed, and Karin blushed. Because the only reason he was sane and in a not in a state he was gonna kill everybody was mainly because of them. And Kurama, unlike Naruto, would just admit that Naruto liked them intimately, and they blushed even further. Minato and Kushina had no problem with this because, like I said, that was not their blood daughter. That was Minato's friend daughter. She looked like Minato because Minato also had whiskers, and it was the clan mark of the Namikaze clan. So they look alike, but they're not like family. They're from the same clan though. So she had yellow hair. She looked like the sexy Jutsu Naruto, but she had whisker marks. But she's actually real. So like, yeah. So then we skip back to Naruto. He's not having a dream or he's not like sleeping. He's in a comatose state. So yeah. Then Naruto woke up and then he stayed a few days into the hospital and he was brought to the Namikaze Uzumaki compound. When getting there, they threw a party for him. They catch up on what he missed when he was gone. The essentials. Then Naruto went to sleep. But before he went to sleep, Karin, Hinata, and Nezuko was in his room. Naruto was surprised, and then Kurama shut the door. Naruto Kurama picked up one of her tails and wrapped it around Naruto's waist. She then used another tail to pull down Naruto's pants. Then Nezuko went up to Naruto and got on her knees, and then started to give Naruto that guac guac 9000. But I'm going to go into that. She stuck out her tongue and then pushed Naruto's waist towards her mouth, and then she went back and forth. Naruto wasn't doing anything because first he would have any experience doing this because he literally just got out of the freaking hospital, and when he got kidnapped, he wasn't that old, but he wasn't that young either. So she was giving Naruto that guac 9000. Spit was all over Naruto's like 20 incher, like his big, damn, juicy thick. You know what? Now I'm sounding sus. No homo. I'm sounding sus. I don't like that. But anyways, Karama then used her other tail to pull up Naruto's shirt, and then she went on Naruto. She went on Naruto and gave Naruto hiki on his neck, on his neck, and Naruto started to kiss him. Then Nezuko stopped giving Naruto that guac guac 1000, and because we pushed Naruto on the bed. Her and Nezuko got on the bed, but Hinata went on top of Naruto and and Naruto and Hinata got rode like a horse though. Like she was riding that shit. Yeehaw. Anyways, she was riding it, and her eyes was rolled back, and her tongue was out, and her drool was coming out of her mouth. Karine then Karin came up to Naruto, and she came on Naruto's face, and Naruto ate Karin out basically. Yeah, and then they both got off of Naruto, and then Naruto grabbed Kurama and roughly placed her down. Actually, placed her down, and he grabbed her red hair, and then started to pull it, and then lift up her kimono and started to hit it from the back. Like he went in, he piped, he smashed. Like goddamn. He then did the exact same to Nezuko, but she had twin tails, so Naruto went ham on those shit. Like her tongue was out, her eyes was rolled back hard, far as fuck. Drool was coming out of her mouth. She was wet as shit. Then they all got in the line and surrounding Naruto, and then Naruto busted a nut, like just there, and just like busted a nut, like all in their face. And then then they went to sleep, cause Naruto was tired as fuck. His stamina was gone. He was tired of shit. Then we skipped to the next day, and Minato asked Naruto if he wanted to train. Naruto then went to the underground training facility under their house, and Naruto asked Minato if to go 100%. Minato told him yes because he's the Hokage. Naruto extended his tails, but he didn't use the bone ash. He didn't wrap them around with the bone ash. And then he swinged his tails around, and then he got into a fighting stance, like how Kaneki fought with his Kagune. Was it Kagune? Yeah, how Kaneki fought with his Kagune, and started to use it like a shield. He started to pop like it. He started to flip off places and just like go off on Minato. He then a word came out in Naruto's head, and he said, and his red Rinnegan activated. His red and black Rinnegan activated, and he said, Almighty pull. And Minato came towards Naruto, and Naruto's tail slapped Minato away. They then started to get into a heated taijutsu spar. Naruto was fast, not faster than Minato, without his flying. Not as fast as Minato, but he was really fast. Everyone was watching at the time. Naruto tried to sweep Minato with his chakra tail, but Minato flipped away. Minato then struck Kunai and hit him with a flying Raiji Barrage level 2 Rasengan and put it in Naruto's back. But surprisingly to him, which he thought he went overboard, and Naruto's back twisted, and it stayed twisted like that for a bit. But then he saw Naruto's back twist back to normal. Naruto told him it was a healing ability, and flipped and hit Minato with his chakra tail and knocked Minato out. Obviously, Minato was holding back, and him holding back was the mistake. So Naruto's not as strong as Minato, but he can put a fight with him. But if Minato was taken seriously, Naruto would lose. But he won in this case because Minato was holding back on his son that had not too long became onto the hospital. So note that, guys. But that's why I'm getting off the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is a staple of our channel because this is the first ever what if idea I had ever put out. Because if you were an OG, you knew that what if Naruto was like Kaneki from Tokyo Ghoul was the first ever what if that I ever made. So check that out, guys. Like, check that out, and then come to watch this one. I never finished it, but I'm planning to finish this. But I also want you to tell me which what is that you want me to finish, and to I'm gonna drop every what if that I was doing except Madara's descendant, Naruto Uchiha. I am not dropping that, but I'm gonna drop everything else to deal with the others. So tell me what you want me to finish, and when I finish all of them, I'll go back into series that I didn't finish, and I'll finish them, and then I start with new series. But also these series will come out because these are 20 2021 series. That's what I'm calling them. So my channel is split into two. So there was season one, which was the first year I had, and then the first year I did what is, and then the second year was 2021. So this is the season two of like my what if channel. So see you guys. Hope you had a good day. Hope you had a good everything. Like see ya.